that I try to catch the Joel Klatt show as much as I can, because I think that when it comes to the overall football knowledge, he's very tapped in. I like hearing when he's off talking to X, Y, and Z coach or player, and he's getting that intel and everything else. But I do think that on this particular thing that he talked about, which was the self-imposed punishment for Sharon Moore, there were kind of two things that I wanted to touch on. For those of you who have not seen it, the key point that he made, or the first key point, is that he believes that he called it self-serving for Michigan to self-impose a 2-game suspension for Sharon Moore, and specifically talking about the fact that Michigan picked Central Michigan and Nebraska as opposed to New Mexico and Oklahoma, given that Bryce Underwood, it'll be his first 2 starts. Sharon Moore's alma mater is Oklahoma. So he's arguing that this is self-serving, to basically to get out in front of whatever punishment Michigan may or may not receive. And on the one hand, I get where he was going. In other words, like, if there is a significant punishment coming, then coming out in front of it with 2 games and games 3 and 4, like, from that point of view, you could kind of see where the hamster wheel was going there. But at the same time, I think self-serving goes a bit far. Like, a lot of us, including me, said, fight this and don't self-impose anything. So
yeah, I don't like the self-serving. I mean, if it was self-serving, if it was really self-serving, and we talked about this before the show, John, they would have did the non-conference game, Central Michigan, New Mexico. That's as self-serving as it gets. I mean, if anything, it's just Michigan trying to move forward and appease a government body who is not going to let up, right? Like, I don't think self-serving is the correct term. I think what Michigan is doing is, I think it's what they need to do to move forward. That's what they're doing. They're trying to abide by their sins, even though I think we would all disagree. Deleted text messages that show absolutely nothing, that have been recovered that show nothing, probably shouldn't deserve 2 games. So like, I guess there's the argument there. Like, how's it self-serving, John, if the reason for the suspension is because he deleted text messages, evidence that had absolutely nothing tied to Connor Steins and Signgate? So where's the self-serving? If anything, we are being over-punished. Sharon Moore is being over-punished for a crime that has nothing in it but deleted 52 text messages or whatever the hell it is. Like, I don't know. So self-serving, I don't. And, like, listen, I'm actually a big fan of Joel Klatt. I like him. I'd put him in the top 3 of football analysts right now in the sport. But not only do I disagree with him on the self-serving aspect, and I know we didn't touch on it yet, but his what he thinks occurred with Ono and why he moved on to Florida is way off path. He's not informed at all.
Yeah.
So, and for those who don't know, and I guess we'll just hit on it, Joel Klatt's insinuating that he went to Florida because something's coming from the NCAA. That couldn't be further from the truth. And if you watched our show, you'd know we covered it. We covered what occurred behind the scenes in the regions who were involved. And I also got word. So another individual I was talking to personally mentioned there's actually another region. I won't name the name. We'll leave it alone. But there's another region involved as well who was a part of that. So, so he's dead wrong on the Santa Ono situation. So it is what it is. I mean, he's also doing his best to give his perspective on it. But I also think maybe you should be mindful on what you're saying if you don't know and like, he has connections. I feel like it wouldn't be hard for him to figure it out or learn from somebody. Regardless, point being is I disagree with self-serving, and he was definitely wrong on his Ono take.
Yeah, he really kind of went off the deep end on the Santa Ono piece, because I think that the first part, like, I kind of was following him. I didn't agree with the term he used, but I understood what he meant. But then when he started to lump it all together, which he's not the only one doing this, but he is. I think this is something worth kind of just calling out, right? So he said you have Michigan trying to get out in front of a suspension for their head coach, Sharon Moore, the president leaving for, and I just put Florida there, but he said leaving for a job that we all would assume isn't as prestigious. So something's coming. It's likely very large and could even be financial. Well, financial from it, if we're talking about a fine, we all have been saying that there's going to be maybe the largest fine ever imposed in history.
That's right.
That's been a consistent. We've been reporting on that for a while.
We have been saying that for a year.
Right.
I've said it for the longest time. This show has said we are anticipating the largest fine in NCAA history going to Michigan. Like, and for those who don't know, and John, I think you're aware, I put $100 bet against an Ohio State fan. He's actually got a pretty large account on social media, essentially saying, I don't think there's gonna be any vacated games. I don't think there's gonna be postseason bowl bans. Okay. I'm quite confident in that. And so what I'm thinking is going to occur, John, and we've talked about this, I kind of feel like sometimes we're walking down the same path over and over again, but listen, there's going to be a fine. There's going to be recruiting restrictions. We're probably going to be put on a 2 to 3 year probation. Okay. Not bowl bans, but a probation period where the NCAA will, if we do anything in that period, then that obviously would be bad. And then you will see show causes for coaches like Jim Harbaugh, Connor Stallions, Chris Partridge. Okay, you'll see that. I'm not sure if I know there's been some word that potentially the NCAA feels that the Sharon Moore suspension actually will meet the what they're looking for. There's been some rumblings that maybe the NCAA is pleased with Michigan's 2-game suspension, but I can't say I know that. I've heard it. I've heard the rumors, but I can't say I know it. And but so if that is true, if Sharon's going to get a 2-game suspension, and then the rest of the coaches, Harbaugh, Stallions, Partridge, they deal with show causes for however how long those are, it is what it is. I mean, like, I really just do not see vacated wins. I do not see vacated national title not happening, vacated Big Ten titles or bowl bans. Don't see it, bro. I do not see it.
Yeah. And by the way, Chris Ballas and some people have been saying they don't take as much stock in what he says as others. Whoever you want to go with, Chris Ballas, Isaiah Hole, they've all been pretty consistent that a postseason ban, vacated wins, these things are not happening. Yeah, these things are very, very, very unlikely. And while nobody knows 100%, I mean, when you have that level of consensus and that level of, it's so rare these days, TJ, to be certain about something, and it feels like Chris is certain, like that there will not be these things. So, like, yeah, I guess what would you?
Even Josh Pate feels the same way. Josh Pate says he does not think that there will be any extreme punishment. There's not going to be some hammer, and there's not. I mean, listen. A lot of us know, and I know we got some Buckeyes watching. Listen, the Pied Piper Buckeye Scoop is leading the charge, and then you got Justin Spiro on the Sparty little brother side of things, and they're leading the charge between these rival fan bases, and these rivals are wet dreaming over a bowl ban, vacated wins, all this extra shit. But like anybody who has some type of I don't want to say influence, but resources within college football, whether it be your Josh Pates, whether it be other insiders or other things like Chris Ballas, etc. Nobody feels that we're going to get these hard punishments that the rivals so badly want, and it just doesn't logically make sense either. And to Garrison, I see Garrison. He goes, "Well, shouldn't Sharon Moore get a show cause for what, bro? Deleting text messages that show absolutely nothing tied to Signgate because he disrupted evidence Well, he's now getting that punishment. It's a 2-game, currently as it stands, a 2-game suspension. We'll see if the NCAA does approve that publicly, or if they're looking for 4 games or 3 games. Who knows? I don't know. I can't say I know. But at the end of the day, I mean, I just don't feel like the biggest things that are going to hurt Michigan in this, John, is being on probation for a few years and some recruiting restrictions, which we are going through one right now. We're going through a recruiting restriction of 4 weeks, which is kicking our ass. Now Michigan will rally, and I'm going to tell you right now, money solves everything in recruiting. So have no fear, because Michigan has it. But we're dry. Recruiting's dry as shit right now. And you'll find out in the recruiting update again, we got some things for you, but it's not how it's been. So, bear with us on that. Don't get mad at me. I just report the news, but yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, thankfully Michigan, but see, here's the thing too. So maybe this is self-serving, John. Michigan chose their 4-week of recruiting restrictions in May and the end of April, after they did all their visits and after they had recruits come for spring practice. So again, this is a down period before what? Official visits. Because at the end of the day, it hurt, like the cost or the impact on not being able to go visit these kids is going to be far less when these kids can come to you on the university's dime. Right. So I mean, it's end of the day, it's just not, it sucks because we got to deal with it. And like our guy Moose says, like, I'm getting tired of talk. We, no question, as a fan base, have hit a fatigue discussing the scandal. And what's unfortunate is we are not going to get a resolution until mid to late summer. So, I mean, it is what it is. We just got to get through it, ride through it. Yeah. So we'll get there. We'll get there though.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, I think, could there be scholarships taken away?
Oh,
yeah. But what impact is that going to have?
There's no scholarships anymore. It's done. Scholarships are done. That's not it.
What can they really do anymore is the question.
Well, an interesting one is, so let's say, okay, so we know they can't do scholarships, right? But here's an interesting thought. Can they put a cap on revenue share? Could they limit your revenue share to your football team? I don't know. The new territory we're in. We know Michigan's going to do 75%. I believe it's 75% to the football team. So, and I think, what is it? It's 15 to basketball, 75. It's 75 for football, 15 for basketball, and 10 to the rest, I think, is how they're going to do it, is what I last heard. So,
okay. Well, that would make logical sense. I was very concerned it would be evenly split with like water polo, and I know I mentioned that one a lot.
No, thankfully they wised up. Yeah, a year ago those discussions were being had. But if anyone has seen what Michigan hockey's doing, Michigan hockey might be winning a natty pretty soon, boys. They're getting some elite talent, first-round NHL draft picks coming to Michigan, and the word is there's more coming, by the way. So I know we don't cover hockey a lot, but pretty exciting news for the hockey team.